welcome to the live coverage of Tropical Storm Isaias. Right now we are currently looking at the infrared satellite imagery on Tropical Storm Isaias. It has weakened back down to a tropical storm strength as they have recorded around 45-mile-per-hour gusts with it, but it is expected still to turn back into a hurricane in the upcoming days. Let's go ahead and zoom out a bit here, and let's go ahead and look at the National Hurricane Center. As you can see right now, let's go ahead and look at the cone here of uncertainty. If I can find it here. Here's a cone of uncertainty right now. As you can see, it is currently just to the west of the Bahamas and about to make impacts on Florida here. By the time we get to around 2 p.m. Sunday tomorrow, it will turn around later tonight. It should turn back into a hurricane as it is entering some warmer waters and lesser wind shear here. And by 2 p.m. Monday, once it is making a bit landfall on Florida, it does turn back into a tropical storm strength. Then it goes up the east coast up here into Virginia, and by the time it does get to Maine, it will be that post-tropical cyclone. Let's go ahead and look at the other things here, the latest updates. Arrival time of winds, and you're seeing here around Sunday at 2 a.m. it will start making impacts on Florida. Monday 8 a.m. it's starting to make impacts on Georgia. So around Monday 8 p.m. has made impacts on South Carolina. North Carolina, Virginia, you're going to get those tropical storm force winds around Tuesday at 8 a.m. Tuesday 8 p.m. and you are starting to see some effects on the mid-Atlantic and the very northeast. You're seeing around tropical storm force winds around Wednesday 8 a.m. So that's your timing on the tropical storm force winds here. Let's go and look at the peak storm surge and see if that has updated. Doesn't look like it, but there it is. 2 to 4 feet of storm surge is expected for the eastern coast of Florida. And down here by Miami, you're seeing around 1 to 3 inches, around 1 to 3 feet of storm surge. U.S. rainfall potential, and you're going to see around 4 to 6 inches on the very coastline of Florida. Mostly, though, very widespread, though, is going to be the dark green color, which is around 2 to 4 inches of that rainfall, and the light green color is going to be around 1 to 2 inches of rainfall there. So that's your rainfall potential there, and let's go ahead and look at the warnings and surface wind. As you can see here, we currently do have several different hurricane warnings now for the eastern coast of Florida. Also some tropical storm warnings for in that blue color there for the coastline of Florida. You're also seeing here for still the Bahamas, you are still seeing those hurricane warnings in effect. And those tropical storm force winds, those hurricane force winds did calm down a bit as it did enter that high wind shear, did kind of tear it apart, but definitely could organize and strengthen in the upcoming days, like I said. And there's that past track right here where this dotted line is, and this is expected to go kind of that area right up there. Let me pull up my epic pin here, and you can actually see where this is going to go here. You do have tropical storm watches now for the whole coastline of Georgia and parts of South Carolina. Now you are seeing some tropical storm watches out there. Let's go ahead and let's look back at the kind of that infrared satellite loop. Let's go ahead and zoom in a bit here so you can get a closer look. And definitely lots of convection is developing now. It is trying to organize. As you're seeing here, this convection right here is really blowing up, and that's going to really help the storm to reorganize here. And overnight, it could definitely reorganize just like that. So it could definitely reorganize very fast as we speak here. You definitely see that center of rotation right in that kind of general area. I can't really see it that well, but that rotation, that center of rotation, is kind of in that yellow highlighted area that I drew there. It will be starting to make impacts, or is starting to make impacts on that coastline of Florida area. But definitely, yeah, it's going to make impacts on the coastline of Florida. But mainly, it will be getting closer once it goes up the coastline. Mostly tomorrow, you will see some more bigger impacts from Tropical Storm Isaias. So yeah, intensity guidance, it does look like it's going to go down from here, but there's a couple models going back up here to Category 1 hurricane. But most of these are actually going down here, just going straight downhill. But definitely there's a possibility it could re-strengthen into a Category 1 hurricane again and then go back down here once it does make landfall on Florida and the Carolinas. But most likely, all these models are pointing towards this is just going to stay at that tropical storm strength as it did enter that wind shear. And, yeah, pretty much just tear it apart, and it can't really re-strengthen that well. Global hurricane models, those spaghetti models here, and those are pretty much all going in that type of direction until you get over here. It pretty much doesn't know where it's gonna go. But yeah, pretty much in that general direction up the east coast here, and then out of Maine. It kind of doesn't know where it's gonna go. Most likely, it's gonna go this direction here in Canada, and then out to the Atlantic Ocean. Surface plot here. And you're seeing here that's low pressure right there. Let me see if I can actually zoom out here so you can see this very well. There's a low pressure right there. That's the center of rotation right here for Tropical Storm Isaias. This is going to go up the east coast here, just miss Miami, and then kind of almost big landfall on Florida. And then it definitely will make very big impacts on Florida, just won't slightly make landfall. But yeah, that's pretty much what's going on right now for Tropical Storm Isaias. There isn't really much to talk about. Here's a GFS in symbols, which is as well as spaghetti models. Pretty much just saying is pretty much the same path as every single path the model is pretty much saying. We pretty much know this is gonna almost make landfall in Florida, or it could. Some of these models are pointing this might make landfall on actually Florida, but mainly it's just going to miss Florida just by a tad. You'll still see impacts, just not total landfall is going to be expected for Florida. Here's that cone again, and it will just slightly make landfall on Florida. Then I'll go up the east coast, definitely make landfall in the Carolinas and Virginia, and then go up here to Maine, make landfall there as well. But yeah, like I said, pretty much that's all to talk about here. Really not much to talk about right now. But there's that satellite imagery. Definitely does have a possibility to turn into a Category 1 again, but definitely unlikely. Definitely an unlikelihood here for Tropical Storm Isaias. Here's a Miami cam, and you definitely see there isn't really much going on here, but let's let this load up here. Really not much going on. It's definitely pretty breezy over there. There's some more cloudy conditions moving in there. Those waves are getting a little bit more bigger as this storm is approaching. Those wind extents are approaching the Miami area. But really not much going on. Not huge waves. Definitely some more bigger waves out there in the Atlantic right now. But again, not really much going on in Miami yet. You'll see some more bigger waves once you go on throughout tomorrow, as it is starting to make a very close call for the Florida coastline. But yeah, that's pretty much what's going on at the Miami beach right now in Florida. Let me see here. Let's look at the different satellite image loops. Let's go do the true color zoomed out, and let's kind of play this there. As you can see, it's getting more darker out. Let's kind of let this load here. All right, it's loaded all the way here, and zoom it back in. You can actually see this whole thing. It definitely does look like a tropical storm now, rather than the last couple of days. It was looking way more organized than it was now until it hit that wind shear. But there it is right there, just off the coast of Florida. If anyone has any questions on Tropical Storm Isaias, make sure to put them down in the chat. Definitely could answer anything about the storm here. And we can go back to the infrared satellite loop.